G'day YouTube. Have you ever used a hand saw? What about a crosscut saw? Have you got any idea how much muscular effort there is involved in cutting up wood? Just because I've still got some hand saws doesn't mean I use them very often. When I want to cut wood, I use a chainsaw. And a chainsaw is a complicated device for turning petroleum fuel, in this case standard unleaded automotive petrol, or gasoline as the Yankees call it, plus some oil, 1 part in 50 of two-stroke oil, into torque, and connecting the torque to tiny little razor sharp steel knives on a chain, and then dragging those knives backwards through the wood. Normally, for the purposes of firewood, I go and chop up long dead sun-dried trees that have fallen down or died from some other reason. But in the middle of winter, when the sun is low on the horizon, sometimes one gets to a point where there's a tree shading the solar panels even at midday. And if there's no sun on the panels, then petrol has to be burnt. 2.5 litres per day to make up for not enough sun on the panels, because the batteries have to be charged. They're going to need an average of 20 amp hours a day to run my meagre little lifestyle. And so, with the best will in the world, being as green as I am, there comes a time when the tree which used to stand here and shade my solar panels even at midday and was costing me 2.5 litres of petrol per day, that tree just has to be kind of sacrificed. And it took 30 minutes and burnt maybe 300 mils of petrol to not only cut the tree down, but chop it up into bits which will fit, once they dry, into the blast furnace to heat the hut. Half an hour to fell and dock a tree. Now, if I'd been reduced to using whitefellas steel tools and muscle power to do all of this work, I don't know. Would I have got it done in 2 days? 3 days? How long would it take to use human muscle power to duplicate the work that one person who gets a pension for a bad back and a crook foot can do in half an hour on a teacup full of chainsaw fuel? It's this kind of multiplier effect that petroleum has applied to the entire human economy. I have no idea how far back down humanity will sink once the petroleum pipeline is unplugged. But for the sake of more sun on the solar panel, in order to burn less fuel in the generator, sometimes even the most tree-hugging greenie just has to pull out the chainsaw and chop the bloody tree down. Warbles on with the YouTube. Ciao.